That's him. I'm still just kind of like speechless.
Hi, I'm Ben Rising, and welcome to episode 2 of season 4 of Whitetail Edge. On this episode, you're going to follow me back to Illinois from Kansas, where we just had a kill with Evander, and we're going to head back to Illinois and try to get on this big buck that I had pictures of over there in Illinois.
Wow. We're in Illinois. We drove all night from Kansas. Got into Illinois about 1 o'clock this morning. Got in at 1. I got up at 5. Like normal. I just couldn't sleep. Killed that real nice buck Evander in Kansas yesterday morning. And got him taken care of. Packed up. Drove to here. 7 hours. Now we're back in Illinois. Giving it a shot tonight.
So we get back to Illinois, we start grinding right off the bat. You know, obviously, we're following the wind. You know, we're hunting our stands according to the wind. We're hunting close to cover and food because, you know, it's that time. You know, there's some scrapes. You know, we've been running cameras on scrapes, the deer working scrapes at night. As you can see by the pictures from the Spartan cameras, we've got a picture of this buck working a scrape. Got a picture. We got a video of this deer walking through a fence gap. This deer's on the farm. He's just nocturnal as heck. And he's just not moving.
I just know this spot is the kind of a spot that a big buck can come through. You know, I've kicked deer out of here in the past where they've been bedded. It's just a good travel route for deer. I don't expect to see a lot of deer, but I know that I can really see the right deer sitting here.
Finally, we're in this creek bottom, we're up in this stand, and like I said, I love this spot. You know, we get settled in, we're all phased up. We had some encounters before dark there, and wouldn't you know it, right at dark. But he comes in to 20 yards. I mean, literally 20 yards from my tree. I'm looking through the binoculars at him, and I can see it's him. Legal time was over, so we just had to sit there and let this deer do his thing. But boy, that really amped me up. You know, knowing that that buck was there, to have him that close, it told me that I was in the roundhouse. He just wasn't moving in the daylight yet.
Well, we're back in here this morning. Last night, last evening's hunt, we had a doe and a little buck come in here. Just like I was hoping a big buck and a doe would do, coming out of this bedding area. But he just was a real small buck. The doe hung around forever. Then, right at dark, I mean, it was just too dark to even hardly see with the naked eye. A big buck come through here. right into our wind. And he knew, I mean, they're always going to smell something, because that's just how good their nose is. But with the combination of the bays eliminating our scent, our human scent, and then spraying a little bit of this in the air as he was coming up, put a little more in the air. Once he hit it, bang. But he couldn't quite, and he reacted, but then he stopped. I squirted a few more times in the air. He turned right back around, come right over here. Even smelled when we crossed the fence right there, and then kept on going. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, that's a junker rack buck, but that's a big deer. And when you can pull their nose like that, you've done something. Unsuccessful. Headed to, we're gonna go to Iowa for a couple days and then probably back home. Probably won't be back to Illinois for a while, I guess. We'll see. But these deer kicked my butt here, that's for sure. It's the toughest farm I ever hunted in my life right here, this one here. And they won. So, and I wasn't settling like I did last year for a smaller buck. So I'm gonna do it. So we will see what it's like in Iowa. We're gonna have some public land and a little bit of private ground that we've got some permission to hunt on. So nothing set up. We don't have a stand hung. Nothing. We got to get there, do some traipsing, hang some stands, and hopefully get into a deer. That's the thing about us. I mean, we're doing it just like about everybody else would. Well, we left Illinois and we're in a different spot. And it's rough. And we just got here. It's late in the evening and I'm hanging stands, and I shouldn't be typically for what we normally do. But I got no choice, or I don't have anything to do in the morning. So I got a double stand on my back, sticks, and I'm hiking in. Got some points picked out on the map. And we'll see what we come up with. So I hiked way back in there, hoofed it all the way up into this place, and got my stands hung to where I thought, according to the wind, that this might be a great spot. Once we got our stands hung, you know, get out of there. You felt a little bit weird going in that late at night, but I only had a couple days, and I knew I had to hunt the next morning, so I had to have something hung. So you just kind of got to grind it out, go against the grain a little bit sometimes, get aggressive, and get your stuff done and get moving. It was just getting daylight. We were running a little bit behind because, again, first time we'd ever hunted in there. Took a little longer to get back in there than we thought. We were just getting settled down. It was breaking daylight pretty good. And Tanner's like, there's a big buck at the other end of the field. Truthfully, how could you be upset? You're sitting in Iowa. It doesn't matter. You're sitting in Iowa. You got to be happy. The sun's shining. We're bow hunting. We're sitting in a white oak tree. Leaves all around us. Good cover. And all of a sudden, another 10 point comes from behind me.
walks through, nice young deer, beautiful buck. We end up seeing that deer, I think, 5 times in the next 3 days.
When he first jumped the fence and come in here to the pasture, I thought he was a little bigger from the side. I thought, I knew he wasn't a shooter, but I thought he was a little bigger than what he was. But once he turned and looked at us, I could tell he wasn't that big. But beautiful little pinpoint. Gonna be a stud of a deer in a couple years.
And about 9 o'clock, the sun was really blasting this one area of the farm, and it's really where I wanted to be. And all of a sudden, it was an OMG moment. The biggest deer I've seen in a long time jump the fence.
Oh my God.
He jumped that fence, and me and Tanner both were like, oh, crazy. This morning, I mean, we just saw an absolute giant buck. Huge 10. I mean, just as pretty of a 10 as I think I've ever seen in my life. Just a monster. But what we're seeing now, there's a real deep ravine right here, which we could see it on the map. But it looks like it's kind of making a dead pocket. The deer definitely go through here. But every deer we've seen this morning have crossed over there, or come across right here. Our wind, we cannot hunt on that side of the pasture where they cross the fence and come out of that flat. We can't do it today. But we're afraid this evening that big buck is going to come right back across. So we're going to move about 80 yards to this hickory tree or something over here. It's going to put us in that next finger where it looks like they're coming out of. Maybe that'll put us, so we're going to try to be real quiet, but move fast and get it done, and just sit here the rest of the day. Just hoping that maybe he's going to do the same thing or come back through this way. There's a buck right there.
It is really hard to pass up a Pope and Young 10-point. I did twice now. I've passed that deer. I didn't pass it yesterday, but I never messed with it to get it to come to me, and I'm sure it would have. Those are the deer that the big buck was with yesterday. I don't know where he's at. I was hoping he was going to be following because that would have been absolutely perfect. Maybe he'll bring a doe by here later or something. It's November 2nd. We're in Iowa here still. And we're after a really big 10-point that we saw in here the other day. We haven't seen him again. We've seen a lot of other deer, same bucks over and over, but we haven't seen him yet. We're hoping to see him this morning. We've got 2 does out here in front of us already. And we're set up right where they like to cross the fence pretty good. So maybe we'll get lucky and catch this big buck coming back this way again like he did the other day. Oh my God, right here, look. Big buck in Iowa, baby. Oh, yeah. He's gonna go down. Yeah, baby. Yes. Oh, man. Yeah. That is awesome. That's a stud. That's a real good deer. I didn't think I was going to get him to stop right. I thought I was going to have to let him jump the fence, but right here, that did the trick. The Woodhaven grunt right there, buddy. We saw him on this flat back here, grunting. Just kind of cruising. And I gave him a few. And I didn't want to get too crazy. I just gave him a few. And then we could hear him grunting out there again. So we knew he was we thought he was either with a doe or he was just searching and smelling doe tracks. So then I threw it this way, just acted like I was a deer giving a couple grunts out here in this pasture. And a little while later, we could hear him coming. I gave him one more, and right here, man. We moved this stand yesterday because we've been seeing so many deer cross right here. Thank you, Lord. We're in that tree right there, and he just plowed through right here. As soon as we shot him, he just dove through this fence. I don't know how he did that, but you can see blood right there. I mean, right where I did it. There's instant blood right there. The old nocturnal. Look at all the blood. Big fat lung blood. We were sure we saw him fall in the field, but we know that he is for sure now. tad nervous for a second. Look at that thing, man. Oh my gosh. Oh, what? Oh my gosh, man. What a stud. He even broke a point off, man. He had another. Oh my gosh. Look at the mass on this thing. Here he is. We just got a tag on him. What a beautiful buck. I mean, we had an encounter with an absolute giant typical the other morning, and that was the deer we were hunting. And then we just kept grinding up here. We knew that these deer were going to cross through here at some point from all the deer movement that we were seeing. And so we just decided that we were just going to take our chances and put our time in on the edges of this old pasture ground up here, where these deer seem to be crossing from block of timber to block of timber. And it's November 2nd. And so we knew it was just a matter of time. I mean, those deer were acting a little ruddy the other morning, but they weren't like just full reacting and like they should be. And today we finally got some drizzly, overcast, just feels like rut, you know, and the deer were moving this morning. I mean, we saw a lot of bucks this morning. And saw this guy on the backside of the ridge. We could hear him grunting back in there. And so it was just amazing, you know, to hear him. And then he gave him a few grunts, this Woodhaven ProFlex grunter. And I mean, it wasn't 5 minutes probably. He was right in front of us and we got a shot. I just can't be more thankful to come to the great state of Iowa and harvest a buck like this. This is what you dream about when you think of the rut and you think about hunting bucks in Iowa or Ohio or anywhere across the Midwest. This is what we dream about right here.
You talk about a hog, just a monster buck. You know, he grossed 170 with 10 inches broken off. Long story short, we figure out, Tanner figures it out, that it's the same deer, the very first buck we saw the very first morning that I didn't think was a big deer. So that tells you, I don't know everything. But the coolest thing to me is that the very first morning that deer was right in front of the tree that I ended up killing him out of, and that very tree is the one tree that I wanted to hang in from the very start. So that kind of makes me feel good as to when you get onto a piece of ground like that and you're picking those things out. Great hunt. Hope you learned something from this hunt. You know, you just got to grind. You got to stay at it. Don't be afraid to be aggressive when it's the rut time. When you've only got a certain amount of time to hunt, you got to make things happen.
Big buck in Iowa, baby. Oh yeah. I was so hoping we could get it done today because we got rain coming in, and it just feels like a ruddy morning. That's a big deer, dude.
So hey, thanks for watching episode 2 of Whitetail Edge here in season 4. I'm going to head back to Illinois and we're going to get after that big buck that I've been leaving there, soaking in the bedding area. Hey, and if you guys would, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube page, and keep watching us right here on Mossy Oak Go.